Welcome to the Co-Extrusion Podcast with JJ and Jerry. What's going on, Jerry? We were talking a little bit before the episode that you've been having some reliability issues with one of your printers.
Yeah, so it's a little bit weird. So as much as I've touted some Creality printers over the last probably year and a half or so, I am having an issue with Creality that I haven't seen anywhere on the internet. And I don't know if it's an issue with my printer or if it was something that happened like an electrical surge, but my K2 Plus does not work at all. Like
At
none.
all? Like no movement or no screen? No.
So it powers on. It powers on.
Yeah.
And that's it. So the screen lights up. You can navigate through the screen. It's not like it's busted, right? I mean, the screen looks fine. If
Yeah.
you click the buttons, I can go between the pages. Like I can scroll through and see the print files, all that. The this comes just after I did that 16 color print. Everything was just fine after that. I mean, I had CFS issues, but I think they were completely unrelated. And after that, I turned the machine off, and it's been off for I don't know, maybe like 7 or 8 days.
Yeah.
And I needed to print a large batch of items for my online store. What better to print on than the K2 Plus, because I can just load it up.
Yeah.
And I put PETG in the machine. I opened up Creality or Print 6 or Studio, whatever they call it now.
Mhm.
And I sent, I don't know, like 15 parts. And then I came back like 3 hours later and I was like, why is the printer not making noise? What's wrong? And then I realized it wasn't printing.
Oof. It's
So
the worst feeling when you're like, oh no.
I know. Well, see, I don't know exactly how your setup is, like, you know, in terms of noise and volume, because you work in the basement. But for me, I work upstairs. Everything is quiet. If I am walking up the stairs and I don't hear the printer before I even make it to the second floor of the house, I know there's a problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, I hope my ears are deceiving me. I hope this isn't true, because it really was. I mean, it might not have been 3 hours, but it was probably like 2 hours at least. Okay,
Yeah.
so to make it better, I go back to the Creality print. I go back to the slicer. I'm like, what's wrong? I click the send button. I send to the printer, and I walk away. I didn't learn my lesson. Another hour goes by. I come back. Why is it not printing? This isn't good. And so then I started poking around. Like, okay, it's weird. So I thought maybe the CFS was wrong. Unplugged all, because I still had 4 CFS and unplugged all 4
Yeah.
CFSs, unplugged 3 of them. And then I went to the print screen on the actual printer because I can still navigate through.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. It successfully sent the G code file to the printer.
So it received it. Yeah.
It received it. Okay. And it knew everything about it. It knew print time, all that.
Yeah.
I click the print button. And then I don't walk away this time. I learned my lesson.
You learned.
Finally. And you know that the screen pops up with like the temperatures, and then it has got the graph, and you can see it. So that screen never popped up.
That's so weird. Like,
it never popped up. And I was like, okay, weird. Maybe, I mean, I feel like it's not uncommon for printers and slicers to get out of sync with each other, because maybe the versioning is different and something weird happens. Okay, shut the printer down, restart the slicer, both, whatever.
Yeah.
Come back, do it again. So I did that, and then it just wasn't working. So you kind of catch the drift here. So,
Yeah. That's such a weird combo.
well, I thought that there was an issue with the G code. I thought that the slicer just produced a corrupt G code file.
Yeah.
And so I tried to home the printer with the screen, and you have to home Z before you can do X and Y. So I click home Z, And then, there's a pop-up that comes up on the screen. That pop-up says, like, it doesn't allow you to do anything. It says, like,
Yeah,
says
it's like
homing.
homing the Z-axis, and
Yeah,
it
something
freezes.
like that.
Yeah.
And and it never moved. It didn't go left and right. The bed didn't come up. That screen just popped up, and I was like, goodness gracious, what is wrong with this thing? Mind you,
Huh.
it was working perfectly when I turned it off at like previously. Like,
Yeah.
there were no issues. And so then I was like, that's weird. Turned the machine off, turned it back on. I thought this is surely going to fix it because
Hmm.
I'm an IT professional. Have you turned it off and on again? No, it's exact same result. So,
Wow.
and
Huh.
then I was like, maybe it's just the motion system. So I
Yeah.
tried to heat it up. I bet you can guess what either happened or rather didn't happen.
Nothing. No
No heat.
heating.
No heat. So
Huh.
very interesting.
That's such a weird situation of. I wonder, could you check the Clipper logs? Like open it up on Fluid to see if, because you could see in that like the actual commands being sent. Maybe on the Creality print, since it can connect wireless, like it's still connected to internet correctly, to see if those like Clipper commands are showing up. I don't know if on the Creality device tab, I don't think you can see
I've
like
actually
specific
got
commands.
So I've got it pulled up right now, and this is for one of my K1Cs. Inside Corality, like the device tab, you get access. You get access to what's currently printing, local files that you can print, records, and um, time lapses,
Hmm.
and actually, and it records the things that you printed. So it'll tell you if it failed or whatever. But you don't actually get. Like, you can't get clippy.log or
Yeah. There's no
log.out or
logs
whatever.
or a current like terminal, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. Like on Fluid, when you can see those terminal commands coming in or not coming in, it's like, oh, there's some sort of mismatch.
It's just weird because at this point, I mean, like I said, interactivity, like physical interactivity functions. So it's
Yeah.
like you would think if you go from a completely functional machine to a machine that's not functioning at all, that it would be just going total haywire, right? Like maybe
Hmm.
maybe it wouldn't, the screen wouldn't power on or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like it powers on, but just doesn't. You can't command it.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, oh, I wonder if we had a power outage that surged the board or whatever. And
Yeah.
then I started to think, now I have not taken apart a K2 Plus, but I started to think, I'm pretty sure all of these are on the same board. I don't know if that's true, but
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
if they're all on the same board, then the screen absolutely wouldn't work if it was surged. And
Hmm.
this is my thought, even if they're not on the same board, if we had a power surge that was so bad that it destroyed my motion control system, it probably would have just got the whole entire print. Like,
Yeah, the whole thing would be dead if it's. My
it's
only
not just,
wonder is
yeah.
if there's two power supplies, if there's one power supply that does the motion and um heating, like
Oh,
the a high power or more beefy one and then a lower power one that does just the board.
you think maybe
'Cause
a power supply went out?
I don't know if there's two power supplies in there. Because I think it couldn't be the board because the board is still connecting to Wi-Fi and getting that signal or getting the G-code file from the server. So like I
Hmm.
think the board should be good.
That's
And
actually an interesting thought because it, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. The only thing to me that is confusing is like if there were two CPUs essentially inside that were talking to each other, you would think that this guy would be saying move, 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 and this guy would just be like whisper quiet, and then
mhm,
he would be like, "Why are you not talking to me? Oh, error." Pff. But
yeah.
it doesn't produce an error. Like it's as if the command was listened to, but from a physical stamp, like it did nothing.
Yeah. Cuz even the like if it was telling it to turn like the Z-axis homing, I'm pretty sure there's a timeout on that command. Like
I think there
if
is
it
too, and
tries to
this did
home
not.
and it doesn't hit it eventually, it's like, oh, there's something wrong. Like we shouldn't be able to home for 400 millimeters. Stop. Like whatever we're doing is broken.
I
Yeah.
I think there's a timeout as well, and um, I don't know how we would. I don't know how we could test what that timeout is because
Yeah.
obviously a functioning printer is going to have a z-axis that moves and it's going to home successfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, this didn't time out. Like the screen, I came back. I don't remember, to be honest, if I like walked away after I clicked
Mm-hmm.
the home button, but I know that there was a very long time. I had to actually shut the machine off with the power switch in the back because
Mm-hmm.
when it does that homing procedure, the screen like it dulls or it grays out, and that like homing
Yeah.
pops up.
It freezes you
So
from anything
yeah,
any other commands.
so I couldn't cancel it, and it wasn't doing anything. So yeah,
Wow.
very interesting.
That's a very weird error to have. Yeah.
This is eh, well, or it's not an error because it didn't give me an error.
Yeah, yeah. Not an error, a defect, an
Dilemma.
issue, a something is broken or non-functioning correctly in
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
What What's weird is now I started with this at the very beginning, but I have been very happy and pleased with Creality printers over the last
Hmm.
year and a half or so, maybe even 2 years. I think when the K1 first came out, it had issues, but it took
Yeah.
maybe 4 or 5 months from to iron those issues out. But ever since then, Creality, in my personal opinion, all the machines I've received have been really good.
Hmm.
And so this is a really weird issue that I'm seeing from Creality, and it's I don't know. It brings up in my head. It brings up some thoughts about printer reliability because we kind of migrated to a world where I feel like reliability is really good, but now
Oh
this, and I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, printer reliability is one of those like it used to be the number one part of like a review of like how reliable and like, well, I've only tested this for a month, but usually it's after that, like you can't get in enough testing before the usual breaks start to happen. Um,
Mm,
and that nowadays they're so reliable, like straight out of the box. So many new printers, I don't set it up and like watch the startup routine. Usually it's like, okay, set it up, send the file. And every printer since the K1, I think that was the last one that I like really dived into like how it's doing the things. And everything from Creality, Bamboo Lab, even weird other brands. Like I don't really
FlashForge.
watch anymore. FlashForge, I don't watch them anymore. Soval, didn't even watch the startup routine. I don't know how that one runs. It just runs so well that like you send it the files and it just prints.
I know. I know. It's really weird. And I think with my K2 Plus, I think this is a fluke, and fingers crossed it will correct itself. What
Hmm.
I'm going to try and do is reflash the firmware, and maybe it got into a
Yeah.
bind. But I think this is a fluke. But I mean, you bring up a good point, right? Every new printer I've received in the last, I mean, at least 18 months, because
Hmm.
I've received some interesting machines from like Artillery, which is still a very small brand. And
Yeah.
even those printers, like maybe their onboard firmware for like user input might be a little clunky, but in terms of reliability, strictly speaking,
Yeah.
you turn the printer on and you click setup, and you can just like walk away.
Hmm.
It does its vibration compensation, it does its X point bed leveling, it does retraction, whatever it does. Maybe some have more than others, but they all work pretty well.
Yeah. My K2 Plus, I have had a few issues, but most of it is with the CFS. And so it gets a broken piece of filament like down underneath there. And I think for me, since I have so many other printers, if there's a broken piece of filament in there and it's like, well, I could either take it apart or just use any other printer today. And it's like, cool, I'll just use another printer. And so I leave that one kind of not working for a while. I did have one issue with the K2 Plus. The filament sensor in the actual hot end where when printing it wouldn't turn off. So it would correctly extrude it, or it sends it from the CFS to the nozzle, and then it heats up everything, and then it would try to like pull it out or something. It couldn't change to the correct filament or something. It would just stay locked on. And so they just sent me it was a cheap replacement switch to swap it out and put it in there. So, and I don't know if I could have gotten it working when a new switch was all it needed. So.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm thinking about the most recent printers that I've had, and the biggest issue with a printer I've had was the FL Sun S1 Pro. Was that their flagship one, the giant one?
Yeah,
that was
S1 was the big one.
I can't remember if it was like a S1 Plus or what, but that printer, it worked. The problem that I had was that it was just printing so freaking fast that if you print something kind of small and dainty, it doesn't have enough time to do its Z-hop, and so the nozzle was colliding with the actual. But if you slow the printer down, and this is like a physics problem or a kinematics problem.
Or
this is not
a slicer problem, really. Like if you tuned in your Z-hop differently or your minimum layer time differently, like
probably very true, right? And that printer left so I haven't actually produced a video on an FL Sun printer in a little while, but there's some reasons why, and I would like to make an FL Sun video soon. But anyway, that's kind of besides the point. But that printer left the studio probably a year ago, or that's what I don't know. My timelines in my head are mixed up, but a long time ago. And I'm trying to think of the other machines, like the 85X was fine. Even the Artillery X4 Plus, Artillery's mega size, like 400 millimeter cubed, just standard Cartesian XY machine, that was fine.
Yeah.
The Artillery X3 Pro was fine. I'm trying to think of like small machines that are cheap.
Yeah.
85M was good. I haven't had Elegoo.
One of my most expensive printers, the Orange Storm Giga, is the one that has had the most issues that I've kept around. Like, it's just like unreliable, where it does the Z homing and then it prints and it can't get a good first layer to it. It's like,
that one, that might be. Would you consider that still a modern printer? I mean, I probably would.
Yes,
maybe.
I would call that a modern. It's only a few years old now.
Yeah, that might be the printer that's had the biggest like community issues since the K1 series, or since let's go back, since say like Bamboo came out, because it was just so wild, and the leveling procedures that needed to go into it. I mean, technically the firmware still should compensate, but
I think it's just because they made one of their old printers bigger instead of making a new printer. And so it doesn't have the pressure sensor in the nozzle. You still have to use a piece of paper to do the Z offset.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it had a BL Touch.
No. I think it's one of those not eddy currents.
The one that doesn't touch the bed.
Capacitive,
Yeah.
It has one of those attached to it. So you still have to use a piece of paper to measure the Z offset, which it never would do correctly. I would level it with that, and still it would print a millimeter too high. And it's like, I know how to. I've leveled so many printers with a piece of paper. Like, I'm not that bad at leveling with a piece of paper.
Listen,
and it would make me feel like I'm terrible
6
at
years,
it.
7 years. Like,
I've been doing this.
Done this.
And so then you'd still have to like lower it by like 1.5 millimeters to get a good first layer. And it would work in one corner, but then in the middle of the printer, it would be way too high. It's like,
oh yeah, I know it all too well.
Yeah.
But these are the problems that we would experience 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be experiencing that today. Like, and not only should we not be experiencing that, generally speaking, we aren't. Like,
no,
it is kind of wild to me to think that Like, I know people in my personal life that are not engineers, they're not software developers, they are people, they're not STEM. I'll clarify, they're not STEM majors at all,
Mhm.
and they are talking about getting 3D printers. Some of them have gotten 3D printers, and they're able to use them just as good as anyone else because that's what it. I mean, that's how it should be.
Yeah. The default print profiles in the slicer are all you ever really need. Like, you need to learn when to turn on or off like supports or using a brim or not using a brim, but that's about it. Like, it's
And
not tuning in your supports, it's
yeah,
whether to use it or not.
and that's more like you just gotta learn. You, you got to learn the hobby, right? I mean, if you
Hmm.
pick up baseball, you have to learn the rules, or football, whatever. You have to learn
Yeah.
the rules, and that's kind of just the rules of 3D printing, if you will. Like, oh, I this print failed because I didn't know that it needed support, and it just completely failed. Like, you do
Yeah.
it once, kind of thing, or maybe twice, and you start to pick
Hmm.
up pretty quickly. Um,
But yeah, print reliability on even something like the A1 Mini is what I always go back to as like the cheapest printer I recommend to people. And it's like that usually is a $200
oh
without
yeah,
the combo. And I print with it right next to my H2D, and I can barely tell which prints came off the $200 printer or the $2,000 printer. And I haven't had issues with it. Like, the reason why I keep it around is because it's so small and it's so reliable for years. Like,
that's
it's crazy.
so wild to me. So
Yeah.
for me, I don't have an A or one of the A series printers from
Yeah.
Bamboo. The cheapest machine that I think that I'm dare I call it a daily driver, I think is a Crowdy High.
Yeah.
What is that? Like $250? I don't know exactly. I think it's maybe 249 or something. Um
Yeah.
That's
Um,
the cheapest machine that I have, and I would put that in the realm of this is a beginner friendly price because
mhm.
that's what the Ender 3 was. The Ender 3 was like $300 when it first came out, I
Yeah.
think. So, um and it's like it's generally set it and forget it.
Yeah. You don't even have to think about really any printers. Like,
I know.
of where I can really get. It's crazy that now I can get 7 printers up and running and not have to like think about them. It's like I have to think about what I want to print next and keep the files going to the printers. But that's the hardest part. It's not like every other print's going to be a failure and I've got to, tune in this or that and
Well, the funny thing, I mean, you say that, but like it's totally true. Back in, you know, 4 years ago, if
yeah.
you have 10 parts that you need to print, you can be dare I say, a printing expert or whatever language you want to use. You can be that and you can still have parts fail.
Yeah.
You come it's and not only will they fail, they'll be just fine for 3 hours just until you take a shower and go to bed.
Yeah.
And then it'll fail.
And then it'll just fail. And nowadays the like print detection is one that I've noticed on my some of the newer printers that have it. The Bamboo H2D being like the big one that I noticed where I can just send a print to it because its spaghetti detection is built in and actually works well enough where
Interesting.
it's so reliable where like if something starts to fail, it stops the print and then in the app I can see and be like, "Oh, it's actually fine. Like, don't worry about that." But I'm glad
Interesting.
you sent that to me, so now I don't have to like worry about prints failing on that printer.
Yeah, and I don't know if they will push this to the X1 Carb or the X series, or
Hmm.
maybe if they already did. I haven't used my Bamboo Lab printers in a little while, just by happenstance.
Yeah,
Um, so there were times that I would use that and it would pause a print and say that there was something on the build plate when it was just like a little filament hair that just was
yeah,
hanging up, and it definitely would have been fine anyway. But bringing software in like that, now that definitely creeps into some of the, like, we're creeping into the $2,000 price point here,
yeah, yeah.
but still, it's software. Eventually, you can
It'll
just
trickle down. Yeah,
just put a camera. Well, does the A series have a camera on it? I don't know.
yeah. The A series it has a camera, but I don't think it has the spaghetti detection or error detection on
Sure.
there because it's a really low quality camera as
Well,
well. Yeah.
eventually, I mean, cameras that are high enough quality to
Mhm.
detect, you could have a 720p camera, right? We're
Yeah.
talking like to the manufacturer, probably like less than $5. So
Yeah.
$3 or whatever.
Super cheap.
And put one of those in, and you've already got the software, right? I mean, obviously, the manufacturer wants to make their money back now, so they won't
Mhm.
include it in the cheaper printers. But in like a year or two,
Yeah.
reliability just goes up and up and up.
It keeps going.
Even
Yeah.
even for the entry level baseline. Like, I don't know if I want to get into 3D printing, but I want to try it. Even for that level of printer.
Yeah. It's crazy how reliable things are getting and will continue to get. Like,
What if what now this could maybe turn, this is maybe more food for thought because it could turn into a long conversation. But like, so I use 3D printing as for small scale manufacturing.
yeah.
Like, what if the reliability got high enough to where you could, honest to goodness, reasonably use 3D printers as a form of manufacturing for consumers? Like, you get a whole entire warehouse of printers. I know people have it now, but you're generally not manufacturing like high strength, high tolerance parts for,
Mhm.
vehicles and stuff. But
Yeah.
like, we could get there, and when you when you have failed parts, that's what starts to really drive your costs up. So you want to
Mhm.
minimize that. I feel like
Yeah.
we're getting so close to that.
Yeah. And there's a lot I don't know about the large scale software of like managing that many printers. Feels whenever I see like
True.
the Prusa videos of like all their print farms that they run, it's like that looks like a nightmare to
Yeah.
just like keeping them going, like taking the prints off, restarting the new prints. Like it's all these little things that like operationally, whenever I am trying to print bigger projects, and it's like, oh, cool, I'm trying to keep all the printers going, like just going back to the printer, choosing the next colors I'm going to use, loading the filaments on, slicing,
Yeah.
sending it on. Like I can
This
spend all
is
day going back and forth between the printers.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the people that work Pruso's print farm, that's their job, is to like just
Mhm.
remove a build plate, slap a new one on, and click the print button. And what they do, I don't obviously I don't know exactly, but I think that's their job. And
Yeah.
like, sure, so we start now with manufacturing. We need to check off all these boxes. The first box is reliability check. The second box is how can we make the software. I feel like Prusa has pretty good software from
Mhm.
my understanding.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't used it, but let's just say check. Now, how can we make it so that we don't have to have a human touch this printer every 30 minutes because the print is completed?
Yeah.
We just like those build plate removals. Like, you
Mhm.
set up, if one printer can have, 4 build plates, okay. So it goes in and it stores 4 build plates, and now you go from checking on the printer every 30 minutes to every 2 hours kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're just checking boxes. Eventually,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. It
this
keeps
is
getting better and better.
uh
Yeah.
man. Well, it's got me thinking. Well, that was a
It's
good
crazy how
conversation.
they just keep improving.
I'm curious, what the listeners, what are you guys printing with now, and have you noticed any reliability improvements? Are you still using old printers, new printers? Would love to see what everyone's using. So,
Yes, that'd be an interesting topic.
and if you guys aren't, make sure to like and subscribe. We have new videos coming out every Friday at, I believe, 9 a.m.
9 a.m. That's the plan. When I correctly schedule them. If I miss a weekend, we missed one, and so we're trying to catch back up and get them correctly scheduled.
It's going to be good going forward, though.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.